Hit me. Shit. Right in the sternum this time, T baby. Shit, you already know. You already know. You already know.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to episode 2. I actually changed the name after one day to, we're gonna go a bull run now. We're a bunch of young bulls out here. Got some cows out there too for the females. I don't mind a female listener either. I'll take anyone. The first episode, I think first day we got 150 views. I switched the song in the beginning. I think it was too long in the first one, but regardless, today I'm going to tell you the story about how I got fired from my job of 6 years. But first, just to touch on yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw two of the top FDA people step down, and are going to retire. Keep in mind, these are the same people that prescribed opioids to people and started the pandemic with that. I've lost family members to that as well. I've lost family members to COVID. Fentanyl, it's bad up in the reservations up north. But for them to say that the booster shots are bad, but before they were prescribing opioids was it's kind of a slap in the face to all of us. It's something that it seems every day it's leaning more and more towards that they are trying to literally fuck all of us. Bill Gates tried to clear out Africa so he could mine their minerals there, and I think he's still trying to do it. The gold in South Africa, look it up. Nobody knows where it goes after. It all is private business, and it all goes to no one. It's insane. The kids that they're trying to vaccinate, I talked about it yesterday. They're saying if you don't vaccinate your kid, or if you don't get them tested or whatever, they're gonna take your kids in Michigan. Look it up. One of the lawmakers there is like, this is insane. It's getting to a level of idiocracy almost. On Reddit, I don't know if you guys use Reddit, but this guy talked about how he went and got tested and got the email that he actually had it. So I just asked him why he went and got tested if he thought he had it. And I got hammered with people about anti-vax this, anti-vax that. And I just said, if I got sick, I would stay home for 10 days, especially if I lost my sense of smell or taste. Same thing with the flu or a sore throat. I would do the same thing there too. The only one I would really go in for is strep, because I think that's the only one you can really get medicine for. Pneumonia and stuff, obviously. But I was looking at this thing today, and you can look it up. I think when you have pneumonia, the hospital gets 10 grand. When you have COVID-19, it's 53 grand per incubation of patient for COVID. And we're coming up on the season. Fauci said you can expect up to 100,000 more deaths if we don't speed up the booster vaccinations. Robert Malone said that if you get your second and third, it absolutely destroys you. Japan just found all those vials with black dots in them. I unfortunately do not think that our nurses and doctors pay that much attention in most cases. I mean, we have one thing nobody thinks about is we got 350 million people. Japan has, I don't know, 30 million. That's a huge difference in population right there. And people look at things and never think about that. I saw this thing where if you take everybody and put him in Texas, it would be a similar thing to being in New York City, as far as being close to somebody. So it's not like we're overpopulated, um, but they're making it out to seem that way. You know, it's insane. I hope I'm wrong. My whole family got the vaccine, and if it is, you know, what some people think it is, I'm going to be totally alone. Um, and that's not going to be any fun for me. So uh, today I'm going to tell you the story of how I got fired. I'm not going to tell you anyone's name or where I worked. Um, but I just wanted you to know that I spent the last 6 years pretty devoted. I missed weddings, funerals, family events, my niece's birthdays, you know, all of the above, to cover for people to work. I was working sometimes 7 days a week, um, you know, 100-hour weeks, no exaggeration. And this was in sales. We can call it a car dealership, and um, I did everything from, you know, selling to parts to picking up customers and everything of the above. And started out, you know, first year I was, you know, in the back doing stuff like that, and then moved up to sales. It was a $3 million store my first year. Um, I was by myself, didn't take any commission. I doubled what the salesman that was there for 6 years previously did. And then, you know, it just went on 13 million, and then I think I ended up with 16 million, and then 17 and a half. And um, you know, we had 14 employees. Me and 10 of them were tighter than you can imagine. You know, just a bunch of guys that wanted to go to work. And um, you know, we had, over the course of 4 years, I think 4 or 5 managers that just kept trying to fuck with us and get in our heads. And I ended up getting one of my buddies hired, who worked at a high position in a hospital. And you know, instead of giving me the manager job, they ended up giving it to him, which I understand. I like to speak the truth and say what's right and wrong, and I'll tell someone if they're being a fuckhead that they're being a fuckhead. And I ended up telling him that, you know, I didn't think he was right for the job. And you know, we were pretty good friends, and after the conversations, I was like, this dude can't be a leader. And then he ended up getting the job, you know, was stroking my cock forever, telling me how good I was and how great you are with customers. And I got promoted to sales manager, and I made a ton of money for these people. And they he ended so we ended up getting a finance manager, and she was a lesbian, previously married a cop, a male cop, now turned lesbian. Um, and she claimed abuse, and I don't believe a damn word about that. And then her lesbian partner that she was married to, she also claimed abuse, and I don't believe a word of that either. Um, and you know, I was continually, you know, talking shit to her. And you know, she just was trying to implement things that weren't working in a world where I was pretty successful, and then I knew what the hell was going on. So anyways, fast forward, my manager and my finance manager end up hooking up. I see like rubbing shoulders, touching. I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. And then I see them driving together, and they're insisting that they're not hooking up. They come out and tell us that both of them are getting divorced. One claims they're getting abused by her lesbian partner. The other one is calling the other one crazy, claiming that she thinks she's sleeping with the manager and all this stuff, which, you know, all in turn turned out to be true. I ended up catching them, and I called them out on it, and it's not right. And the day the owners, who called me their son and all of the above, claimed family this, family that, were on vacation, and the guy that was there for 6 months, who I got hired, ended up letting me go. The same day I called them out on it. They claim that it was because I was discounting stuff. I was discounting less than 2%, which is nothing in my industry. And maybe if I end up making money off this comedy or whatever the fuck I'm doing, I'll end up telling the full story, because it's actually crazy. There's so much shit. You work with these people, and they manipulate you. I talked to my father about it, and I told him, if it ended up going down and we had protests here and he asked me to protect the business, I'd be the first one out there, fucking standing out there, yelling at people to get out and all of the above. And he just threw it away for nothing. And it has something to do, I'm, again, 26. I can't keep my mouth shut. I tell, a 50-year-old boss of a business, what I think is right, and that's not okay. And a lot of people will figure that out eventually. We got a group of old people, 45 plus, that think their shit doesn't stink, and in reality, those are probably some of the dumbest people out there. They don't do any research. They think it's all fugazi stuff. I talk to my dad, and he thinks it's crazy, and then I have to provide all these articles for people. It's my advice to people is, be careful on who you trust, because at the end of the day, no one's gonna remember you, and you got to just be happy. And if being happy, is, sorry, I'm getting a text message right now. If being happy is, doing heroin in the street, then go to Portland. If you want to work and not watch your two managers fuck all day, then I got a place for you. Just hit me up on my line and I'll let you know where to go. But it's insane. I devoted so much time to that place. I actually had job offers from multiple other places that wanted me to come work for them, and I turned it down due to loyalty, because of the family aspect of things. And I honestly don't know really what's going on with it all, but it's something that doesn't make sense. The owners haven't even reached out to me. And when I was going through that other thing with the jobs, trying to recruit me out to them, he cried in my face and told me all this shit about, how he thought I was family. So it's insane. All I wanted to do was sell and be my own dictator of my future. And it's just a kink in the road right now. But the chick at the work is truly evil, man. I there's a photo of her that I thought she looked kind of like a lizard, and my coworker, who I love to death, called me and he said it. And maybe I'll put that picture up one day. But she fucking looks like she might be a lizard person sent here by aliens. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do next. I did a show yesterday, local here in my town, and 12 people there. There's a lot of people with masks on in my town right now, so I think people are gearing up for the second wave already. And I just recommend you find a nice lady. I got a good lady. Her name's Casey. Love her to death. Been together for 5 years. I want babies. She wants to get married first, which I tell her that, I took women's studies classes. I don't want you to be part of the social construct, and that didn't work for me at all. So I think I gotta get married. Now I'm just trying to avoid the whole wedding aspect of things, but maybe that's just me being selfish. But at the same time, the divorce rate's nuts. I just watched everybody at my work go through divorces. My old work. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Tell me I'm a fag. Tell me I'm retarded. Tell me to stop talking. I'll keep talking. Um, do you guys watch Tim Dillon? He had a funny thing about Mayor Lightfoot. She was talking about how there's like 4,400 people, 44 or 7,400 people on electric monitoring systems in Chicago, and that's the increase for the crime. Um, I think I heard like 1 in 10 murderers are caught in Chicago. It's incredible. And then I don't even think we vote these people into office. I think everything is set up with it, because there's no way that many people can be convinced that she's the answer. Um, One thing I was talking about with a buddy of mine is I don't think the defense spending is actually something that's true. 700 billion or whatever it is a year we spend on defense. I think that was all going to people's pockets. Because how the fuck do 15, you know, uneducated people from the Middle East? I don't know if you've seen videos of these dudes from the Middle East, but there's no way that they're geniuses to pull that shit off on 9/11. And then the January 6th thing happened to our capital. Have you seen those people in the videos? I mean, it's insane to think that either the money that's spent on defense is fake, or that it's all set up and they're planned things by the higher ups. It's like this COVID thing. How is it they just stopped talking about the lab leak thing? Um, why wouldn't we want to get to the bottom of everything? That's what just is confusing. It's like we can't even talk about that. Um, you can't talk about where it came from. This ivermectin thing. I don't know, the horse thing. It seems weird. I'm a strong believer that maybe there's something in marijuana that helps with COVID, because I use quite a bit of it, and I've never had an issue with COVID, and nor have I been scared. And I've been pretty close to people that have gotten it. Um, but with that being said, the guy I worked with was like 6'8", 400 pounds, and he definitely wasn't healthy, and he never got it either. So it could be a mentality thing too. They said that about the Taliban. They're not thinking about the COVID, so they're not getting it. And it's just like, how stupid do you think we really are? Uh, Bezos stepped down. Nobody talks about it. The divorce he has with his wife, nobody talks about it. No one's going to talk about these FDA people. Nobody's going to talk about Meghan Markle or whatever her name is, Kathleen Markle, in Germany stepping down after 16 years. Nobody talks about what's going on in New Zealand right now. They're literally posting a singular person on national news to find him. Think about how fucking scary that is. If we let him start with this stuff, it'll never stop. You know, um, and I think part of it is, everyone needs to lean on something. There was like 6 other comics last night, and I was the only one that didn't start the show by saying that I'm gay, straight, white, black, Catholic, Irish, whatever. All these people, and you watch Kill Tony. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that show, but all those people that walk up there just instantly talk about their race. And I don't know how that's going to be so dangerous for the future. It starts with fear, then hate, then fighting. And, my dad talks about a civil war and all this shit, and I see it on the internet, and I promise you, you do not want to be picking up someone's head in the street in your neighborhood. You don't want to hear, little Timmy next door screaming for his mom. Uh, over fake stuff. Um, I think like 70% of the people in Congress are millionaires. They get paid $174,000 a year. The president get paid $470,000 a year. That's life-changing money for 90% of the country, and everyone acts like it's not a lot of money, and then they just get paid and paid and paid. And from speeches, Clinton made like $300 million from speeches and gave like 10 of them. It's an insane number, something like that. Plus, she killed 400 people on top of it. And nobody cares. And that's your president. Bush was the CIA guy forever. His dad was in charge of the CIA. Clinton was an educated guy from Arkansas who came out of nowhere to become president. Obama was totally set up, came out of nowhere. I don't like Trump. I think Trump honestly did some stuff back in the day, and I think he had like a second coming to Jesus. Never changed his arrogance, but there's pretty decent evidence of him, back in the 80s and early 90s of doing some naughty things, which I could never forgive. Pedophile or not, you should be fucking hung in the street, or we should bring back stoning, because that's something that's unforgivable. It's all set up, and I want to know what everyone else thinks. Civilly, what the hell is going on? Because it doesn't make any sense. They say by 2080 all the coasts are going to be underwater. But yet I just saw this thing that there's proof that in Antarctica and stuff, it's been building ice steadily for 3 years. Greenland, they just found that meteor there. I don't know if you guys have heard Graham Hancock. I highly suggest you listen to his Rogies episode. Dude's a monster. Made my dad look at me sideways for a couple weeks after I listened to him telling him all this stuff. But the impact of that, once all that ice melts, could have giant implications for our true, source of where human life began, and maybe even further than that. I believe there is a God of some kind, but there's multiple times you're on this earth. It's 63 billion years old, and even if 1,000,000 years passes, that's still a whole nother time for it to terraform again. So and then once you release open consciousness or blah 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 blah, then you get to the higher level. But that's another time, maybe for a mushroom episode or something like that. But that's a little bit more than I wanted to get into. 23 minutes right now. I just wanted to tell a story about why I'm doing this, and I think that maybe I could reach a couple people. I haven't got to telling jokes yet. I don't know when I can start that. I feel like the introductory part is a little important, but I tried starting a Twitter account again. I got kicked off from my original one because the Antifa guy said anyone who's unvaccinated should die, and I'll slap the Antifa off your titties, and that got me suspended. So that's great, but I will get past you, Jack. I will fucking get in there, and we will be able to talk our shit. But like I said last time, on the next episode, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, I might be going on vacation to the Dakotas. I haven't decided, but we're going to talk about the LGBTQs, some percentages about Population, I think a lot of people overestimate how many people are out there, and what we're changing in our school systems. When most of it's like less than 2% of the population is actually gay, and I'm all for being your true self, but I don't think second graders should be talking about that. I think that's actually super fucked up. Is there an age that there should be talked about? But that's something, maybe I'll look into and get some research. But let me know if you guys want me to talk about anything. I got a couple list of things. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about climate change. I'm going to talk about the Pizzagate stuff, because that was never really looked into after, and there's a lot of facts after. David Icke, who's getting taken off of, he gets a lot of criticism because of his lizard conspiracy, and I think that's a little fugazi as well. But there's a lot of ties with ancient stuff, and we're gonna talk about all that. But I appreciate your time, guys. Have a great weekend, and stay easy.
Caroline, she's the reason for the word, bitch. I hope she's speeding on her way to the club, trying to hurry up and get to a baller or a singer or somebody like that, and try to put on her makeup in the mirror and crash into a ditch. Just playing.